Hi there, Working Homeschool Mom. This is Charlotte from Charlotte Jones 24/7 and My Little Homeschool. And this is episode number 66 of the Strike a Balance podcast for Working Homeschool Moms. And today I'm going to be answering the question, am I actually cut out for homeschooling? When you start out on your working homeschool mom journey, you might ask yourself this. You might not feel that you are patient enough, that you have enough time, or that you are qualified enough. So in this episode, I'm going to give you some ways to overcome these doubts and some practical steps that you can take to feel more confident in homeschooling. Before we get to the episode, I would be ever so grateful if you could rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. It just helps more working homeschool moms find it, and in that way, we can grow this supportive community together. Thank you so much. Hello and welcome to the Strike a Balance podcast for working homeschool moms. This is Charlotte Jones. I'm a homeschool coach and homeschooling mom of twin boys. I know it can feel really overwhelming to keep all the balls in the air all the time. So each week I chat about tips and strategies for being a happy and thriving working homeschool mom that you can implement in your life too. I also speak to awesome and inspiring women who manage to juggle homeschooling and work successfully and find out what their secrets are. Be sure to check out my time audit and mindset challenge in the show notes and sign up to my newsletter for lots of cool freebies. And if you ever need to chat, please book in a session with me. I'm so excited for you to be here and I hope you'll get so much value out of this episode. So let's get started. Are you looking for a new math curriculum? Well, I'm thrilled to introduce our favorite math curriculum to you. CTCMath specializes in providing online video tutorials that take a multi-sensory approach to learning. Favorably reviewed in Cathy Duffy's 102 Top Picks and the Old Schoolhouse Crew Review, the lessons are short and concise to help your children break down concepts and appreciate math in a whole new way. The lessons are taught the traditional way and not to a test. Each one of the video tutorials is taught by an internationally acclaimed teacher, Pat Murray, who is renowned for teaching math concepts in a simple, easy to understand way and in only a few minutes at a time. Using a multi-sensory approach means having the combination of effective graphics and animation synchronized with the voice of a friendly teacher together with a practical assessment. This three-pronged attack makes learning so much easier and more effective. Even students who struggled with math are getting fantastic results, and ones who were doing okay before are now doing brilliantly. Visit ctcmath.com today to start your free trial. CTC Maths is generously offering my listeners an amazing special. Go to www.ctcmath.com/MLH to get a half price discount plus a bonus 6 months for free. That's ctcmath.com/MLH. I think a lot of working homeschool moms have asked themselves the question, am I actually cut out for homeschooling? You might think you're too busy, not patient enough, not qualified, and that you don't even know where to start. So in this episode, I want to give you some ideas to gain homeschooling confidence as a working homeschool mom. I'm going to tackle each doubt and then give you some practical steps to take and some mindset shifts that are going to help you to feel more confident. So let's start with the first question or the first doubt that you may have, and that is that you are too busy to homeschool. So I know time management is definitely a big challenge for working homeschool moms. There are always millions of tasks to do on any given day. And when you throw in homeschooling as an extra to do, it can get really, really overwhelming. So my number one tip for effective time management is to know your values and your goals. If homeschooling is a priority, you will find the time because you always find the time for things that are really important to you. So how do you actually figure out what's really important? You could simply just get your journal out and write what you think is important to you, or you could try these techniques as well. So imagine it's the end of your life. What do you want people to say at your funeral? That will give you an idea about what would make a good life for you. And this is where you'll find your values. And from there, you can create your goals and steps that you can take to achieve them. Or you could even take a shorter time period and think ahead a year and do the same thing. What would make you feel like you've had a really good year? And then from there, you can pass your values and your goals. So, when it comes to homeschooling, knowing your why and keeping it top of mind will help you to prioritize. Firstly, ask yourself why you've taken your kids out of school. Is it because you want to keep them safe? Do you want to give them a better, more effective learning environment? Secondly, you can write down your why somewhere and refer to it when you're feeling like it's too much. Motivation to do something will make time magically appear. And if you're still not feeling like you have any time, then you could do a time audit. I've got a time audit that you can do. And then you can replace the 30 minutes of mindless scrolling on Instagram with quality time with your kids. So, something else that you might doubt about yourself is that you have enough patience to homeschool. Many moms ask, am I cut out for homeschooling because they feel like they just don't have enough patience? And like spending a lot of time with their kids could drive them mad. So, in short, yes, you can homeschool with very little patience. As with being busy, you have to be strong in your convictions and you need to feel that homeschooling is a priority. And then you can work on some practical steps to stretch your patience. Firstly, you can reduce the amount of time you homeschool by homeschooling year round. This will mean less time needed to homeschool and more time for you to do what you need to do or what you would like to do. Another thing to do is to make homeschooling super simple. You don't have to do all the things. You can use online programs to homeschool, or you can outsource your homeschooling as well. There's absolutely no shame making it easier for you to homeschool your kids. You can let your child take the lead. This can be wonderful for the general mood of your homeschool. Kids are going to be more engaged and invested when they are in charge of their own learning. It's also a good idea to set boundaries around your time. Be very intentional about how you spend your time. Be present when you're with your kids and then be present when you're working, and try not to mix the two if possible. This also speaks to the idea of not multitasking. It's much better for our brains and for concentration to actually concentrate on one thing at a time. And you'll find that in those short bursts of concentrated time, you can actually get a lot done because you are so concentrated and because you're giving that task your full attention. Prioritizing self-care is also going to help a lot with your patience. When you feel looked after, when you feel rested, when you feel like you have time for yourself, you'll definitely have much more patience. So prioritize self-care and rest for the benefit of everyone. And you don't have to start with hours and hours of self-care. You can start really, really small. Just give yourself a few minutes, a few times during the day, and then build on from there. Lowering your expectations is also a great way to stretch your patience. If you have very high expectations in terms of what homeschooling should look like, you are going to get annoyed with your kids, or you're going to get annoyed with how your house looks, or you're going to get annoyed with the fact that there's always mess and noise around you. Rather find what works for you and your family, and if possible, let go the need of a Pinterest perfect house. I've done that and it really has made such a big difference in my life. Another thing to do is to find your energy sweet spot. You're bound to have more patience when you're feeling energetic. So it's super important to find the intersection when your kids are receptive to learning and you have the energy to homeschool as well. And this could take some time to find, but it's worth it to try and find that time because it's going to make homeschooling so much easier. And when homeschooling is easier, then your patience isn't tested as much. Finally, finding a community can really help you with your patience because it's a good place to vent, to offload sometimes, but it's also great to know that you are not alone because I can guarantee you that most working homeschool moms feel like they don't have patience or at some time have felt like they have lost their patience. The third doubt that working homeschool moms have is that they are not qualified for homeschooling because perhaps they don't have a teaching degree. But I would like to dissuade you from this idea. The fact that you are homeschooling or want to homeschool makes you more qualified than most. Once again, your motivation and heart are what are going to make you good at homeschooling, and everything else can be learned. And something else to take into account is that it's really effective to be a facilitator rather than a leader in terms of your child's learning. There are so many benefits to this when they take ownership of their learning and when you let them lead. They'll be more invested in what they're learning if they can choose, and you'll encounter much less resistance. Your kids will learn lots of important life skills like problem solving and being independent when you let them take the lead. And you'll have the opportunity to learn right alongside your kids, which is such a gift. And I know I filled in a lot of gaps that I had from school. And knowing that their parents don't know everything can be really positive for kids. You can normalize looking things up, asking for help, figuring out hard stuff, working together. I mean, there's so many fantastic life skills that can be learned in this way. And there's no shame in asking for help. You don't have to be an expert in everything. You can outsource and you can send your kids to a co-op, or you can use online programs that do all the prep for you. There's absolutely no shame in doing that at all. And also, by including your kids in everyday life, they'll also learn so much. Learning how to run a home is an invaluable lesson to learn. Not to mention what else you can teach them about your work and hobbies, because they're going to be so much more involved in your life. So let's return to the question. Am I cut out for homeschooling? Yes, you are. By approaching homeschooling with an open heart and an open mind, you will definitely be able to learn everything you need to learn, and you'll get the hang of it. And if you ever have any doubt about your abilities, then please reach out. I would be ever so happy to support you. You can book in a coaching session with me and we can chat about your homeschooling doubts. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Drop me a DM on Instagram or post on the Working Homeschool Moms support group over on Facebook, and let me know what resonated the most with you. It would also be great if you could rate, review, and subscribe, or share the podcast with a working homeschool mom who might need it. It's my mission to support as many working homeschool moms as possible. Until next time, take care. Hi there, Working Homeschool Mom. This is Charlotte from Charlotte Jones 24/7 and My Little Homeschool, and this is episode number 66 of the Strike a Balance podcast for Working Homeschool Moms. And today I'm going to be answering the question, am I actually cut out for homeschooling? When you start out on your